Welcome to Fun and Development, Player Development Series Volume 2. My name is Coach Lou Mignone, the Director of Coaching at West Orange United FC. We hope that everybody is safe and healthy during this period of COVID-19 quarantine. We do have a return to play, potential date of June 22nd as a initial phase of a return to play. We will keep you posted on details relating to that and potential summer activities that we will plan at West Orange United FC. Please connect with the West Orange United FC Facebook page for details that will be announced as we get them. Please check out the YouTube playlist for individual technical training for players that I put together. And this will give to you some ideas of activities that you can create, perhaps in your backyard, and your children can engage within for individual technical isolation for passing, dribbling, receiving, redirecting, juggling, receiving balls out of the air, striking balls for shooting, driving, and chipping. So please check those videos out, and you can tweak them to meet the needs of your children. We do have webinars for players and their parents each Thursday afternoon at 4:00 p.m. Those are Zoom webinars. We hope that you can join them live. And we also have parent webinars each Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. They're 30-minute webinars as well through Zoom. And if you can attend the player or parent webinars, I will record the content and put them onto YouTube so that you can view them at your leisure. I'd like to start out by saying thank you to the parents and families and friends of West Orange United FC for being part of such a wonderful program that we have here. It's called Top Soccer. It's a program for children with special needs. Please contact me for further details or if you wish to volunteer. We typically have training sessions during the fall and spring seasons, and that would be each Saturday late afternoon, 5 or 6 p.m., depending on when the gym space is available. But it's a wonderful program, as I said, and we would love to have you volunteer, or if you know of children that can benefit, please share information with them regarding Top Soccer. We'll talk more today about the national grassroots movement of U.S. soccer that was introduced to the coaches in our country in January of 2018, and for the past 2 years, Play-Practice-Play, the evidence-based approach to creating a training session and coaching grassroots players has spread like wildfire, and it continues to be a major part of building better player-centered environments for children throughout our country. The big picture in our country is that 75% of youth players drop out of soccer by the age of 13. And this is not only soccer, this relates to all other team sports. The primary reasons for children leaving is that they're not having fun and they're not developing the skills to advance to higher levels of the game. This is the first generation to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents, and this is due to less active lifestyles and rising levels of obesity. That is some scary details provided by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. A closer look is taken at the challenges within soccer and other sports for that matter by the Aspen Institute Project Play, a group that works very closely with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees to gain a better understanding of the state of sport in our country and to develop strategies to encourage and maintain participation of children in sports. Because only 5% of children in our country between the ages of 5 and 18 meet the recommended 60 minutes of moderate physical activity each day. Children of this present generation have engaged and have attached themselves a lot more to sedentary hobbies involving information technology devices, screen time that adds up to over 4 hours a day for children 8 to 12 and over 7 hours a day for teenagers. Dr. Amanda Visek and her colleagues at George Washington University have jumped in and really gotten to the bottom of why children either stay in sports or leave sports. And they have identified that fun is the single largest predictor of sport commitment and sustained participation in childhood and through adolescence. And incidentally, the lack of fun is the primary reason that children leave sports. The self-determination theory, in addition to Dr. Visek's fun integration theory, are cornerstones for the development of the Play-Practice-Play methodology. And within the self-determination theory, Doctors Ryan and DC have identified 3 basic psychological needs that need to be met for individuals to be motivated to continue within an activity, such as soccer. So number 1 is autonomy, and that is being self-directed and experiencing a level of personal freedom and the ability to make one's own decisions. So play-practice-play methodology is a games-based approach, and players are engaged from the time they enter the field till the time they leave within a game-like set of activities. So players are within a game environment from the time they come to practice till the time they leave, and they're free to make their own decisions based upon their experiences within that environment. This addresses the autonomy need. Relatedness comes in the form of each activity includes 2 teams and 1 ball. All games are directional, meaning that each team moves in an opposite direction. So is what we refer to as a collision sport. And all activities at practice within play-practice-play involve these games between 2 teams. Each player is part of a group, part of a team, and collaborates with their group to build up, create chances, and score goals while simultaneously looking to prevent the opponent from building up. Look to as well deny the opponent from creating scoring chances and stop the opponent from scoring. This brings a feeling of relatedness, a basic psychological need as well. Competence is expressed through the coach who is able to adjust each activity and ensure that the appropriate level of challenge is met so that players can experience success after a struggle with a challenge that is not too difficult or too easy. And within play-practice-play, coaches must continually observe and adapt to address this level of challenge to bring a sense of competence for the players. So all 3 of these basic psychological needs are met throughout each play-practice-play training session. We believe that play-practice-play includes the ingredients that are part of building the most powerful learning environment for skill acquisition. This includes allowing players to experience the game and look for their own solutions, to make decisions based upon what they're reading and taking in from the senses, because this information is going to dictate the action that they decide upon. Mistakes within this type of environment are a learning opportunity. Players should not fear mistakes. Players are encouraged to experiment, explore, take risks, reflect on any failures that they have, and fine-tune so that they can try again and look for success with each effort. These environments are fun. So in a holistic way, we not only address soccer, we address the feelings that children have within these activities. They want to have fun. They seek fun. Part of fun is being able to make one's own decision, and through making decisions based upon what a player is reading, we believe that instincts for problem solving are built, and this in turn helps to build independent critical thinkers, and self-esteem becomes part of what children begin to experience when they are introduced to play, practice, play. U.S. Soccer has identified 6 key qualities in a priority listing as being what we as coaches in the United States must focus the most of our efforts upon building and helping players to build. These are based upon perhaps cultural challenges we have in our country compared to the rest of the world that experiences loads of free play in the form of street soccer. Our children experience sports after registering and having parents bring birth certificates and sign paperwork and put together maybe a season of 10 weeks and 2 practices each week and traveling to games, etc., etc. So we have some cultural challenges that we have to overcome to allow players to just experience the game and make their own decisions without being told what to do, and developing the ability now through making their own decisions and being able to read the game, to take initiative, to not wait for somebody to tell them to do something, to take initiative based upon what they're taking in from their senses and responding to on their own. The other qualities within the 6 key qualities include demonstrating focus, optimal technical abilities, optimal physical abilities, and taking responsibility and accountability for one's own development and performance. Different time periods in our history of being involved in this sport. The sport is not that old in this country in terms of coaching education and programs for children. But within each time period, we had different paradigms of thought relating to how we can help build skillful players. The late 1960s through the 1970s brought with us the separate training concept, where technique was separated from the game, and soccer was viewed as a technical game primarily. So players engaged in drills to address this technique. So that would often involve maybe dribbling through a set of cones or finding a partner and passing back and forth with a partner. So this also included the other pillars, and there's 4 pillars in the sport of soccer: technical, tactical, physical, and mental. So the 4 components were separated. When players arrived at practice, they would perhaps run laps, and this would address the physical component. And after the laps, they would stretch. They would stretch, and that would address maybe the physical component as well. They would get into lines and do drills, which would address the technical component. And then the coach would provide a lecture, and this would address the strategies or the tactical part of the game, and perhaps the mental part of the game in terms of motivation. Players would actually experience the game of soccer, playing the game of soccer, only after technique was mastered. So this type of training would offer players the opportunity to scrimmage, usually the last few minutes of a 90-minute training session. We evolved in the 1980s, and we realized that we can combine pillars such as technical and physical, or technical and tactical. And by combining these pillars, we refer to that as economical training. And we believed at the time that the game was an interaction between multiple pillars. So groups of pillars were multiplied. That picture, we could see children dribbling. They're not dribbling through a set of cones. So there are decisions to be made by the players of when to change direction, when to change pace. There's moving obstacles as opposed to still obstacles, meaning the cones. And we believe that this type of activity addressed not only the technical side, but also some decision making, the tactical part. And that was called the integrated approach. And that brought us all the way up to the 2010s. During the present day, Play-Practice-Play has been introduced, and we refer to Play-Practice-Play as the holistic approach, because the game we see now as a tactical game, meaning that it is a game filled with decisions every second. Whether a player has the ball or doesn't, there's decisions to be made based upon what the player is reading in terms of his or her movements or positioning, and the positioning and movements of opponents, teammates, and the ball. We believe now that decision making is of the highest order, and every action, so that would be the employment of a technique, is simply a response to a situation created within the game and a decision made by the player. All actions by the player are connected to all four components of the game at all times. And it doesn't make sense to separate these components because they will be required, based upon the demands of the game, to be acted upon simultaneously by players. Players train technical aspects within game situations, and this makes it a skill as opposed to simple technical training. We'll pause at this point until next time, and we want to thank the following people for contributing information that helps us to become better coaches. And these people include the U.S. Soccer's Coaching Education Department, Director of Coaching Barry Pauls, and Grassroots Coach Educator Zach Crawford, Dr. Amanda Visek and her colleagues at George Washington University, and their development of the FUN integration theory and FUN maps, Dr. Edward Deasy and Dr. Richard Ryan for the self-determination theory, Aspen Institute Project Play, American Development Model, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and commonsensemedia.org. And we want to thank you for taking the time to participate in this webinar. Please, again, check out our Facebook page, the West Orange United FC Facebook page, for up-to-date announcements. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.